I welcome you, sir. I welcome you, ma'am. And we look forward to having a very robust relationship with you. I will hand over to the chairman of NAFS Lagos State to do further introduction. Thank you very much.
Thank you, man. Our Chief Prince Shaki Roraji. Ladies and gentlemen, up NAFS. Up NAFS. Just like I've told you earlier today that we have some guests in our midst. They are here, and luckily for us, the DG Nasi is here. The Vice President Nasima is also here. So it's a great thing for us to have the two of them here. Happy to have you in our midst, Prince Sokuta and Chief Kola Akoshile. I'm going to hand over the mic to Mr. Oladoja, the coordinator from the presidency. Is he here? Okay, so he will do further introductions of the people that we have in this team and what we need to start moving forward. We don't have to wait any longer. We don't have to wait. Like I said, we have lost some opportunity in the past to which we will have, we are going to learn some of them here. Because I have been close to Chief Kola Akoshile, the Vice President of Nasima, and who has also been watching NAFS from afar. And there was a time he got closer, very close to us. But unfortunately, we missed it along the line, or there was a misrepresentation of us along that line. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to say, on your behalf, we are saying, welcome to NASI. NASI simply means National Association of Small Scale Industry. And their purpose is to help small scale industry like us to grow through federal government and state initiative. And that's why I said I will give the mic to Mr. Oladoja to quickly tell us a little bit about who they are and who we have in the team for us to move on. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone, mommies and daddies and friends. My name is Noah Oladoja, commonly identified as Dr. Fish. I am a doctor by enterprise, and I'm a member of the Nigeria Association of Small Scale Industrialists. Let me quickly make this clarified that NASI is Nigerian Association of Small Scale Industrialists, not National Association of Small Scale Industrialists. Nigerian Association of Small Scale Industrialists, not industries, but industrialists. As I said, all of us, we are industrialists in a small scale. Yes, having said that, we have national spread. We are in all states in Nigeria where we have our branches, and the headquarters is located in Abuja. And so we are one of the OPS, organized private sector, recognized by federal government, and we are having good relationship with federal government in all areas, including and especially education, where I believe you are all interested. Am I right? Yes. So NASI, we are spread throughout Nigeria, as I've said, and we prioritize education because it is the backbone of economy of any nation. As you have heard earlier, we have our DG here, Director General of NASI, who have much to tell us, but in quick time. And also Chief Kola Akoshile from NASIMA, that is National Association of Chamber of Commerce and Industries. They have bundles of information also for us, but in quick time. All these are there to help us understand what is interest in NASI, and also from our sister or brother organization, NASIMA. Good afternoon again, everybody. On this note now, I want to hand over the mic to our NASIMA Baba and Ogas. He's going to give one or two information about what you can benefit from NASIMA. Then we go to our DG of NASI. Thank you. The introduction. Sorry. Let me do the introduction. I will first of all mention the person you may not know at all in your life. And that is the host of this occasion. And that is the person of the chairman of NAPS in Lagos State. I don't know whether you know him or not. Okay. That is our chief, Lukman Alaka Owolabi Yusuf. You love that? Thank you very much. So that's the first person I'm introducing. Then by the right is also our DG of NASI, that is Engineer Opunta Ifeanyi. If you have heard about Studio 24 before, that is Studio 24 standing before you. Also, by him is the NASIMA Vice President in person of Chief Kola Akoshile. He's an icon of business and representative of NASIMA. And also, by his side is Mrs. Olayiwola Ene, and is our Vice President in NASI. He's a woman like a man. Yes. And also, by my far right here, is Mrs. Afolakerita Obakasumu. Is our Social Welfare Secretary. That's Kasumu. Kasumu, congratulations for seeing another Kasumu today. Also, by the right, please can you remind me your identity, sir? That is the Vice President of NAS. Please just clap for me for identifying the body. And also, the next person is the person of the chairman of NASI in Ekiti State, the Fountain of Knowledge, is here representing. Again, is the beautiful woman by his side. The person of, please remind me the name. The Vice President. Can you please clap for me for that also? And also is Mr. Aderile Oni, who is the custodian of our monies. If you want to borrow or grant, please hold him before you leave this place. And lastly is our BOT chairman, which I believe you will not know him. You are knowing for the first time today. Just clap for me. Thank you and good afternoon. I'm handing over the microphone now to our NASIMA Vice President, the person of Chief Kola Akoshile. Chief, you are welcome, sir.
Good afternoon, everybody. Today is a wonderful day, and we are all happy to be here. We are having multiple occasions here. I'm being told that this is the first meeting. I'm being told that this is the first meeting of NAPS, of the new ESCO, which is a good thing. And we're also having NASI here. We're going to have one or two functions to be done here today, and also to tell you about about NASIMA. NASIMA, you know, is the apex body for the private sector in Nigeria. And I'm the National Vice President. I'm also in charge of MSMEs, small and medium-scale enterprises, which the whole of NASI is part of. What we're here to say today is there are quite a number of benefits which we can derive from the government, even we can create for ourselves. But again, it depends on how we are structured. And we believe that from what I've seen, I've interacted with NAMS for about 4 years now. We've been talking, we've been discussing, we're trying to structure out something. When I was the president of the Chambers of Commerce, I met with the NAMS president. And one important thing we noticed was that there is what we call lack of access to capital. Am I right? Yes. Lack of access to capital. And that is an area of our specialty. And we have found out that we could structure, a scheme where NAMS members, because we believe that NAMS, they have existing structures on ground. So they have enough of what is required, or most of what is required. But again, the Nigerian banking system does not support, the NAMS the way we want. They give you 6 months loan, 24-30% interest rate, and we believe that is not sustainable. We had a conference with NAMS. NAMS is also National Association of Microfinance Banks. The chairman of Lagos is here. That's him. So we got the money man also. What we're trying to do is to now structure some sustainable finance for NAMS members. I won't be able to give you details here, but as we go along, we'll begin to hear about it. We can structure up to 100 billion, 200 billion, 5-year facility, 1-year moratorium, single-digit interest rates. These are things that we believe that, because there are studies that show that for any economy to grow, education is the fundamental aspect of it. And that education in Nigeria, the private sector is a fundamental aspect of that. And if you don't have enough resources to have laboratories, to have instruments, to have water structure, then you cannot grow. So we are going to be working with NAMS Lagos to come up with enduring structures that you will find very safely. And I can assure you that within a very short period of time, we'll be coming back to you to design not a day of long speeches. We are here to dolificate, no access, and have fun. So I want to welcome you here once again. Thank you very much.
All right, maybe since you have the TG also tell us what they have for us. Good afternoon, House. I heard the slogan you said for NAMS. National development. For NASI, they say industrial self-reliance. So when we say NASI, you say industrial self-reliance. Okay. Now I'm going to just, in a very few minutes, I'm going to try and tell you the importance of NASI. Also tell you what we stand for and what you stand to benefit under our umbrella. NASI was established in 1978. The reason why NASI was established is because, you see, in every economy in the world, you have hundreds or if not thousands of small groups which are industry specific. You have a group of people who are doing cola nuts. You have a group of people who are doing education of primary schools. You have a group doing different things across the country. Now the government of the day found that it was being bombarded with every single group asking for its own support. And the government of the day, which was Obasanjo at the time, said, you know what, after going to India and see what they do in India, that hey, we have to have an umbrella body that takes care of the issues of micro, small, and medium enterprises.
And that's how NASI was born by the federal government. But it's not a government-run agency, but it was established by the federal government of Nigeria in 1978. Now, at the same time, with some internal matters, NASI presented to the federal government a need for there to be what you call a regulator. The regulator for all SMEs in Nigeria was born through NASI's write-up to the federal government, and it's called SMEDAN. SMEDAN is a regulator. It is not an MSME advocacy group. Our work in NASI is mainly advocacy to support and provide a backbone for the little guy. Our only interest is in the little guy. Now, when I say the little guy, in two quick ways. One, all of these, since the federal government has said, okay, we're going to recognize one voice from one group instead of listening to too many groups. So the federal government now asked all 5 units of the important groups which the federal government recognizes to come together and form the organized private sector of Nigeria. The OPS of Nigeria hosts the Manufacturing Association of Nigeria. It has NASIMA, it has NECA, it has NASMI, and of course it has NASI. Now all 5 of us have an advisory think tank which meets with various government on various levels. So what is expected to happen is people who are in whatever group they're in, it doesn't mean because you're in NAPS, you cannot at the same time be in NASI. It's like someone who's in, you might be in Rotary Club, for example, and also are a member of your own Lions Club or something in your own environment. But you have to look at why should I or my association go under the umbrella of NASI or NASIMA, but NASI, thank you very much. Because the OPS already is not admitting members. What the OPS is doing is saying, look, hey, if you fall in this category, please work with our members who are holding forth in this category. Now, people always ask us, what's the word industrialist? Why do we have the word industrialist? Now, the error in Nigeria and some other countries is that an industrialist is only a manufacturer. See, that is not the case. Every field of endeavor which has investors within it is called an industry. So you have the healthcare industry, the educational industry, the beauty industry. These are all industries, and you have captains of industry who are prominent people in those spaces. So we as NASI are not strictly for people who are manufacturing, no, but for any person who is in industry. Mostly for not for the employees of industry, but the business owners of industry, even if your business has only one staff. Even if you're self-employed and you're the only one working, you're a lawyer, everybody who is an employer of business, an owner of business, is by default, whether you've signed up or not, a member of NASI. Now I joined NASI, I'm a business person, but I joined NASI because I needed to make some amendments to the way things were being done. I noticed, and till today, that most Nigerian businessmen and businesswomen are ignorant about what their own rights are under the existing format in Nigeria. And because they're ignorant, and even those who lead the associations are being ignorant, what happens is that most associations, we've been to several, most have become social clubs. Now, there's no problem in having a social club, but when you're creating an industry association. You need to separate that from a social club. So I came into NASI to make sure that NASI as a group would stop the effort of relating to things as a social club where, okay, Auntie Yabo is having a naming ceremony, let's all buy Ashori and go. You can do that socially. But what are the issues that affect you as a business owner? Because I'm glad to see that most of you are adults. We've addressed some groups that have a lot of children, a lot of young people. As adults, as senior people in this country, you desperately need access to information, access to ways that you and your business are protected, because at your age and my age, our ages, we are in that group that it costs more to stay alive. It costs more for any of you, anybody above 40, to stay alive than the younger people. And so the policies and things that happen in government that affect your direct ability to stay in business affects your ability to stay alive. Do you understand? It affects your ability to raise your children, to take care of your families, the important things for you. So we as NASI say, okay, if all of these business owners across the country are not really aware of what their rights are, how do we, first of all, reach out to them and start to educate them? Initially, NASI we have a policy where we say, okay, you must buy form, pay money. I abolished that with the support of our president, that for the time being, we are welcoming all people to NASI. We're not going to say, oh, until you pay this money. No. We want everybody who can benefit from NASI to first of all come in and join us. Let's hear from you and let's help you to resolve the issues that affect your business. I'll give you a few quick examples. Now, you see, since I took the office, I've been in meetings with very senior government officials. And those meetings, I've seen that many people who should be there, who should be talking there, are not there. So they have no voice at those meetings. One of those meetings I went to was with the CBN and people at the CBN, concerning what my brother here said about financing. I put it to them, I said, come. I'm old enough to know that there was a People's Bank. Yes. And when the People's Bank was established, I'm old enough to know that we were told that the People's Bank would primarily handle the affairs of the poor, of the struggling. The government gave grants to the People's Bank, the money vanished, the People's Bank did not fulfill its mandate. After 2 or 3 somersaults, we came up with a microfinance banking model for the microfinance banks to be able to reach out to the downtrodden in society, the people who needed small monies to keep their businesses flowing. The microfinance banks, I told the CBN point blank, a man called Mr. Yila, I said, how is it possible that the federal government has announced 1 trillion naira from 2001, when they had this SMEIS program, to 2021 when I met them, 1 trillion naira have been dedicated to SMEs. 1 trillion naira. In that 1 trillion naira, the first one of 200 and something billion, nobody got access to the money. So I said, if you cannot move 1 trillion naira to the MSMEs, and you have microfinance banks, and you refuse to push the money through the microfinance banks, so the microfinance banks are forced to get the money in the open market. How will the microfinance banks on-lend to you at cheap rates? How is it possible? we made this advocacy and we fought this battle with government, and it's still going on till today. We're going to make sure that the government of the day moves money that's supposed to be for MSMEs through microfinance banks. That is a critical area. Now, I'll tell you that at that table I was sitting on, advocating for microfinance banks, there was no microfinance bank at that table. At the CBN, meeting with CBN about MSMEs and microfinance bank, no microfinance bank was in that table. But we made the voice because we knew that we had a bigger problem with the commercial banks. And that commercial bank matter is what affects all of you. And what I'm going to just give you, I don't know how much time I have, because I want to really give you some important insight for yourselves. Now, after a lot of advocacy, the federal government announced that it understands that all of the struggling Nigerian people do not own property. Nobody has collateral. Do you understand? People who are struggling and working mostly have inherited their homes. Others who have homes, they know what they've had to do to put up a small structure somewhere. But any struggling business person has not been able to buy a 100 million naira house somewhere or 200 million naira house somewhere. And there's no real mortgage in our country. There's no, see, when the countries that created the banking system for us, those countries created the banking system based on the fact that they themselves were giving the smallholders 25 to 30-year loans, mortgage loans. You pay over your lifetime. Even if you're 60, you can still get a 30-year loan, mortgage loan at 60. They know you may not be working at 70 or 80, but they give you the loan. So into your later days, you're still paying on that loan instead of being a tenant. It's your equity, what you pay as, what all of us pay now as rent in Nigeria, that is your equity in the home. And that's what that equity you have in the home allows you to borrow against that equity as your collateral. That's what the white man created as a banking system. Our people adopted that banking system wholesale and are so idiotic, forgive my French, that they ask Nigerian people who have no collateral that they must bring house to borrow money. Where do you get the house? You don't have the house to give. You're a business person, you have no house to give, but you must run your business. So, look, the local people who have embezzled your money and my money, a lot of these folks in town now started businesses where they rent houses, COO. You can hire a COO, are you aware? They hire COOs out, which is supposed to be illegal, but it's being done because the banks know you don't have the security. They push you to the people who will give you security at 10% or 20%, and then give you a loan at 20 or 30%, and then you default, and then your business is taken over. So many of you, and many of the people outside, have stopped looking for financial support from banks. Now, for this very reason, advocacy happened. Heavy advocacy happened, and the federal government enacted a law, which many of you might not be aware of. It's called the Movable Assets Registry Law, where movable assets, the federal government has given you and I the official right to use our movable assets as security. It's a law of the federal government of Nigeria. But even though it's a law, if you walk into the banks and say, hey, I have my movable assets, 8 out of 10 or 9 out of 10 banks will tell you, I'm sorry, we cannot lend, even though it's a law, we cannot lend to you using this security unless you bring zero. Now, you, each of us, even me, each of us were too small to fight these banks on our own. Each of us. But all of us are too large. Group as NASI, working together with you guys, we are too large to be ignored. Exactly. When we go as a group, because as a group, we can afford to pay a SAN, as an individual looking to borrow 9 million, you won't pay 9 million to a lawyer to borrow to get him to get the bank to give you 9 million. But NASI, on your behalf, will deploy those SANs, fire for fire. We will work tirelessly until the laws that we're not one of our meetings, they say let's go and fight for new laws. I said Nigeria does not need new laws. We need the implementation of the existing laws which benefits the little guy. So as long as you work in silos, you work and say your naps, someone else works and says it's this and that. As long as we're working that way, we're serving the government very well. They want you to work as small associations up and down because you haven't got the power to fight for your own rights. But when you come under an umbrella that knows what it's doing, there is no way on this planet that we will not sleep until those things that have been promised to us are implemented. Now, it doesn't mean we're subsuming, we're collapsing NAPS into NASI. No, NAPS still exists. And other associations we're working with Colado producers, different associations. They still exist, and they'll be very useful in the area of the rules, like things you want to talk about regarding schools. I would not know. You would know, and your group would know. But things that deal with your enterprise, which NASI will support, that we will do. So NAPS will bring forward areas of common interest that affects members. NAPS will bring forward advocacy that you need to do with either a state government, and we will march on the state government. We will call the governor. If NASI calls the governor is listening to NASI. There's no story. We're not going to meet the Commissioner of Education. That's who you will meet as NAPS. Because they will focus you on your own group. We're not going to meet the Commissioner of Agriculture because of an agricultural problem. Because we're not an agricultural association. We're a general services association for all SMEs. So we go to the governor. If it's federal level, we go to the president. And we table this thing at the presidential level. Now, SMEDAN, who's our regulator, has been trying to smuggle itself as an SME, as the group representing SMEs. It's not representing MSMEs. No regulator in this world can represent the interests of the oppressed. The regulator is government. It's like NAFDAC saying it's fighting for the no. It's you that knows your pain that fights for it, not government. You're fighting. Would you ask SMEDAN to do something against government? They can never do anything against government. They can never say anything that is not in line with what government wants to do. But you and I, who are facing the challenges on the streets, we're the ones who know what we have to deal with. So, and to further this, I'll give you a certain example. We took a fight to the federal government, to this funny woman, humanitarian something woman. We took a fight to them.
Farouk, Shadia.
Whatever her name is. We took a fight to those people. We said, oh, show us the register of people you're sending money to. We've told you in humanitarian, we've told you in CBN, we've told you in MSMEs under the Vice President, that we have a database of people who are verified MSMEs. We know where they live, we know their houses, we know everything. We have their BVN. Why would you then say you are going to give out 250 billion naira loans to people who have no BVN? Who have there's nothing they're doing. But now with the revelations we've seen recently, we all know why that was happening. So we are saying, okay, if you want to continue doing this process where you just hand over money to a governor or to a local government and tell them to go to homes and find people who are doing business and share money, we all know that's a crime. So how then is if NASI is your advocacy partner. Because I'm not going to stand here and tell you, oh, NACI is here with a bucket of money to share money. That's not what NACI is. NACI will help you get that money. Okay, fine. NACI will help you get this money. NACI will help you understand even your own things in your own enterprise, how we can help you to structure your enterprises, how we can help you to have access to international partnerships. Because schools internationally are doing great things, primary schools especially. They're doing fantastic things internationally in terms of science, training, etc. But you as business owners, we can show you ways that your own enterprises can thrive more. So these are all things we're going to be looking at as we discuss and engage better. So we're here for you. I assure you of this. There's so much more we'll talk about as time goes on. All right, thank you very much.
A lot of questions in our minds to ask. But I must say, for time and for some other things that we're going to do, just put your questions in a paper and pass it down.